It's 2 in the morning. You're exhausted. You haven't looked at your phone in 20 minutes. Your room is quiet. Your eyes finally begin to close. Then your brain decides to ruin everything. Not with tomorrow's problems, not with your bills, not with work. Instead, it reminds you of something that happened 8 years ago. A sentence, 5 words, maybe 6. A joke nobody laughed at. Maybe you introduced yourself twice. Maybe you called your teacher mom. Maybe you waved at someone who wasn't waving at you. 5 seconds, that's all it was. 5 seconds that somehow survived longer than entire years of your life. Why? Think about everything you've forgotten. You don't remember what you ate 3 Tuesdays ago. You barely remember your 8th birthday. You forget names, faces, conversations. Sometimes you even forget people you genuinely loved. But your brain remembers the exact tone of your voice when you said one stupid sentence a decade ago. How? Most people assume it's because embarrassment is emotional. That sounds convincing until you remember your brain forgets emotional moments constantly. You've cried before. You've been terrified before. You've celebrated birthdays, graduations, vacations. Some of those are gone completely. So why isn't this one? Maybe embarrassment just hurts more. Pain creates memories. Simple. Except that's not true either. If you broke your arm at 12, your brain doesn't force you to relive it every night. If you had food poisoning once, you don't randomly re-experience it while brushing your teeth. Physical pain fades. This doesn't. So it isn't about pain, it's about something else entirely. Here's something strange. Imagine I gave you a choice. Button 1. You relive the worst flu you've ever had, 1 full minute, and then that memory disappears forever. Button 2. You relive your most embarrassing moment, 1 minute, and then that memory disappears forever. Which one are you pressing? Most people don't hesitate. They erase the embarrassing moment, not the physical suffering. Your brain would rather hang on to pain than let go of humiliation. That should tell you something. The mistake was never the point. Notice something else. When your brain replays an embarrassing moment, it almost never stops at the moment itself. It keeps going. What were they thinking? Did they notice? Did they laugh after I left? Do they still remember? You're not replaying what happened. You're replaying what someone else might have felt about it. Trip alone in your bedroom. You laugh. Trip in front of 30 people. Your whole body catches fire. Same fall. Same pain. Different outcome. Now imagine the exact same mistake, but nobody sees it. Nobody hears it. Nobody will ever know. Would it still feel like this? Not really. Maybe annoying. Maybe frustrating. But not this. So maybe it's simple. Maybe your brain just hates being watched. Except that doesn't hold up either. Give the exact same speech, alone. Same words, same slides, same room, no one there. Would your hands shake? Would your heart race? Of course not. But the moment people stop paying attention, mid-conversation, mid-presentation, phones come out, eyes drift. Your body calms down almost instantly. Nothing about you changed, only their eyes did. So it's not being watched, exactly. Watching stops mattering the second it ends, which means something else is running underneath it. Something that doesn't turn off just because the room does. You're in the shower. An argument from 6 months ago appears out of nowhere. The conversation ended. Everyone went home. Life moved on. Yet somehow, you're still answering, still explaining, still finding better words. Nobody's there. If this were only about being seen, the replaying should have stopped the moment the room emptied. It didn't. It's still running, alone, to no one. So it isn't the eyes in the room. It's something the eyes left behind. You send a message. It says, seen, nothing else. 5 minutes, 10, an hour. Your imagination starts writing stories. Did I say something wrong? Are they upset? Should I say something else? Nothing happened. No insult, no rejection, just silence. And silence shouldn't be able to do this much damage. There's no event here, no injury, just an absence. So your brain isn't reacting to something that happened. It's reacting to something that hasn't been decided yet. Think about the moments you actually replay. They're almost never the disasters, the clean, obvious failures with a clear ending. They're the blurry ones, the ones where you never found out how it landed, the joke that got a half laugh, the goodbye where you couldn't read their face, the thing you said that maybe changed how someone sees you, or maybe didn't. You'll never know. You don't replay your best conversations. You don't lie awake reliving the joke everyone laughed at, only the ones that never got an answer. Now imagine a version of your life where every one of those moments got answered within hours. Someone laughed, or defended you, or looked away, or made a decision, and by the next morning, you knew exactly where you stood. Would your brain still be running this file 10 years later? Probably not. It would have closed the case, the moment it got its answer. So maybe that's the real function here. Not punishment, not obsession, an unfinished investigation. For that theory to make sense, though, an unfinished investigation would have to matter enough to survive for decades. Nobody keeps chasing an answer to a question that doesn't affect anything. So what could possibly be worth that much? Anthropologists who study hunter-gatherer societies keep landing on a similar number, bands of roughly 30 to 50 people. That was the entire social world for most of human history, longer than agriculture, cities, or writing have existed. Your family, your hunters, the people who protected you, the people who fed you, the people you'd marry. Every future you had depended on those 30 or 50 people. And in a group that size, attention was never random. When every face turned toward one person, something had changed. Someone broke a rule. Someone embarrassed themselves. Someone became less reliable. Someone became a risk. A judgment from that room wasn't a feeling. It was a forecast of who would still feed you next winter. Your brain learned that lesson for longer than it's learned almost anything else. It isn't asking what happened. It's asking one question over and over. Where do I still stand with these people? That's the file. It never closes. The problem is your brain never got the update. It still treats every room like the tribe, every meeting, every classroom, every comment section, every group chat, every unanswered message. It runs the same ancient math on all of it, as if any one of these rooms could still decide whether you eat this winter. They can't. Not anymore. The person who watched you trip forgot before lunch. The person who heard your awkward joke can barely remember your face. Only you kept the file open. So tonight, when you're finally falling asleep and your brain says, "Remember that thing you said in 2017? Don't ask why you're like this. It was never replaying the past. It was standing guard over a fire that went out thousands of years ago, still checking the tree line, still waiting for a verdict from people who already forgot the trial."